My girlfriend's mom told me I wasn't good enough for their family. Later, they invited me back. I was the only one with money for the venue. I'm Dorian, 27, and Celine's mom literally had me investigated. Not joking. She hired a private investigator to dig into my finances because she thought I was some kind of con artist. Why? Because I worked nights as a hospital janitor while Celine was finishing medical school. Her mom couldn't understand why a doctor-to-be would date The Help. It started subtle. Dr. Marisol Rains would make comments about my work boots at family dinners. Dorian, dear, perhaps you could find something more appropriate for Sunday meals? She'd wrinkle her nose like I tracked in garbage, even though I showered twice before coming over. Then came the job suggestions. You know, Dorian, my cousin owns a car dealership. Sales positions start at 40K. Or, have you considered going back to school? Celine could tutor you. Always with that patronizing smile that made my skin crawl. The worst part? Celine's little brother Kyle loved me. While the adults made their snide remarks, this 14-year-old would drag me to his room to show off his latest sketches or ask about my night shifts. Do you really see everything at the hospital? He'd ask with wide eyes. I'd tell him sanitized stories about helping nurses and doctors save lives, how every job in a hospital mattered. Dr. Rains hated that Kale looked up to me. He needs better role models, she'd mutter whenever she caught us talking. But the real turning point came during Celine's graduation party. I'd worked a double shift the night before, but showed up with flowers and her favorite cake from across town. I was exhausted, but this was her big day. That's when Dr. Rains cornered me by the dessert table. Dorian, we need to talk. She handed me an envelope. I've done some research. Inside was a full background check. Bank statements, employment history, credit score, everything. She'd somehow gotten access to my entire financial life. I know men like you, she said coldly. You see a future doctor and think you've hit the jackpot, but Celine's going to be making 6 figures. And frankly, you're dead weight. I stared at the papers. My studio apartment lease, my part-time community college classes, my janitor salary, it was all there in black and white, making me look exactly like the gold digger she thought I was. I've seen girls throw away their potential for men who can't provide. Celine's worked too hard to settle for someone who mops floors for a living. The breaking point came when the PI report landed on their dinner table the following Sunday. Celine's mom read it aloud like a court document in front of the entire extended family. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, works minimum wage, lives in a studio apartment, drives a 2009 Toyota with 200K miles. Celine's grandfather actually laughed. Mija, you can do so much better, her aunt chimed in. At your age, you should be thinking about stability, not romance. Dr. Rains slid the folder across to Celine and said, this is who you're wasting your prime years on. Celine picked up the folder, flipped through it silently while 30 pairs of eyes watched. Then she looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Embarrassment mixed with something that looked like agreement. I think we should take a break, she said quietly. Kale jumped up from the kids' table. That's not fair. Dorian is awesome. Sit down, Kale, his mother snapped. Adults are talking. I stood up, nodded politely to the room, and walked out. Celine didn't follow. What they didn't know, I wasn't just a janitor. I was the anonymous donor who'd been funding the children's cancer ward renovation for 3 years. Every night shift, every weekend double, every penny I could scrape together, I funneled everything into that project. The studio apartment, the old car, the secondhand clothes. It was also I could give more to kids fighting for their lives. 6 months later, Celine calls sobbing. Her little brother Kale, who I'd actually grown close to, had been diagnosed with leukemia. The family was financially destroyed from medical bills. The hospital wants to transfer him, she cries. But there's this new cancer wing that just opened, and they have the best pediatric oncology program in the state. Problem is, it's invitation only for major donors. Celine, I said quietly, what's the name of the wing? The Morrison Children's Cancer Center. Some anonymous donor built the whole thing. We need $50,000 just to get Kale on the wait list. I paused. Celine, I am the Morrison donor. I built that wing. Dead silence. The janitor you all look down on? I've donated over $400,000 to that hospital. Kale's already been moved to the VIP suite. I made the call an hour after you hung up. 3 days later, Celine's mom showed up at my apartment. She didn't say a word, just handed me a handwritten letter, apologizing for everything. Kale's in full remission now. Celine and I didn't get back together, but every Christmas she sends me a photo of her brother.